Hello, good morning, everyone. I hope everybody is having a great Tuesday. Thank you so much for being here. Can everyone hear me okay? Good morning. Hi, Martha. Yes. Hi, Amanda. Thank you so much, you guys, for coming. This is a topic that is near and dear to my heart because this is a treatment that can change lives. And I want you to know that the reason that we purchased this device and added it to the practice was actually to change lives. And we knew that this would not be a device that is going to be running all day, every day. This is not going to be a device that everybody wants or needs. But despite that, we decided to add it because this is a way that we can really impact someone's life. And so I want to tell you about this technology. This technology is called Miradry, and it affects sweating. And 365 million people globally have sweating. Hyperhidrosis, which means excess sweating. So that's about 1 in 20. And this is when people are sweating through their shirts, they're feeling uncomfortable, they may have excess odor, they are ruining their clothes, they are feeling uncomfortable in social situations, uncomfortable in work situations, and it's really, really impactful on quality of life. Um, but this can also help people who just don't want to sweat anymore. Um, I don't know about you, but I personally am not a huge fan of deodorant. Um, I, for health reasons, do not want to personally apply deodorant every single day. And so this is for also for patients who just don't want to bother with deodorant anymore or are concerned about potential risks of aluminum or they just want an easier lifestyle. So, Miradry is for patients who are bothered by their underarm sweat and smell. You, like I mentioned earlier, you can see side effects of that by changing clothing often, ruining shirts, having to apply deodorant more than once in one day, avoiding social interactions or feeling comfortable in social interactions or work interactions, and just being self-conscious about it. So some patients come in and they have Botox for their hyperhidrosis. That is something that is very effective, very safe, but can be expensive and uncomfortable. And it only lasts for 6 months. So this is an option for those patients who want something more permanent. Before we get into that, let's talk about the excess sweating and smell. What causes that? So it's caused by the sweat glands. And then the sweat glands in some patients are overactive, and bacteria on the skin basically just thrive in that warm, moist environment and produce smell. So they produce odor. So then the sweat and the bacteria produce this odor and it's smelly, and we're self conscious about that. Here is a little diagram about the sweat glands and how they work. So the sweat glands are all over the body, but they are especially prominent in areas like the underarm, palm, soles. And then in the underarm, we also have these odor glands, and that also contributes to smell. So, what is Miradry? Miradry is FDA cleared. It's non-surgical, it's completely non-invasive, and it's an energy device. So it uses microwave energy to go into the skin and eliminate sweat glands. And this is considered permanent. It's just awesome, guys. This is a really groundbreaking technology, and it has been around for a while. I participated in the FDA approval trial back in 2009. So this technology has been around forever, or not forever, but for a while. And thus, there have been many, many treatments, over 360,000 treatments performed. So we know a lot about its safety and its efficacy. The Miradry uses thermal energy. So it goes into the skin, it's very precise, and it targets the sweat glands and therefore destroys them. It can also eliminate the odor glands. And great side effect, it can get rid of the hair in that area too. So that's something that men should kind of be aware of, but most men do not miss that hair at all. Once the sweat glands are eliminated and the odor glands are eliminated, they do not come back. And so, again, here's several little cartoons, but basically, that energy is going into the skin, it's affecting the glands. And then there's a cooling technology that keeps the top layer of skin safe and protected. So, therefore, there are not major side effects from this technology. So, you see, there's cooling, and then the treatment is deeper in the skin where the glands are actually residing. So, here's a little graph about some of the different options for sweat glands. So, you can see that. The main thing that people with hyperhidrosis consider are Miradry, or maybe they're considering Botox, or maybe they're considering surgery. So surgery is permanent, but it's very invasive. And we don't actually do a lot of surgery anymore, or send for surgery. I guess we don't usually do it in dermatology, but used to be we would send for surgery in really extreme cases. We don't really do that anymore because we have options like Miradry or Botox. Botox is a really great option, like I mentioned before, but it's temporary, lasts 3 to 6 months, and often patients are paying cash for it. So it's a lot out of pocket every 3 or 6 months. Um, and then we have the Miradry, which in 1 to 2 treatments can permanently reduce sweating and smell so that patients feel like they don't need any additional treatment. So it's really such a great, and again, like I said, life-changing option. And the safety is well established. We've been, using this product for over 10 years now. And so it's just a really great option. So here's a little pictorial device or pictorial schematic. So patients laying there comfortably, the area is numbed, and then the device is used to apply heat to the area. So once the numbing is in place, the patient feels nothing. So the numbing is the only part that might be a tiny bit uncomfortable, but patients just don't complain about pain during this treatment. The treatment takes about an hour in the office, sometimes a little bit longer for the numbing. So I usually tell patients plan to be in the office like an hour and a half. It's kind of a bonding time because most of the time is just spent talking to our estheticians who are performing the treatment. And like I said, it's really, really easy. After the treatment, the area does get swollen, it gets inflamed. So it gets swollen, it gets bumpy. The bumps can come and go for a few weeks. So there is a little bit of, I won't say downtime because it doesn't really keep us from doing anything, but you've had the treatment done. There's a little bit of discomfort afterwards. And sometimes patients do take like an ibuprofen or a Tylenol for a few days after the treatment. But other than that, that eventually goes away. And other than that, it's a very easy procedure. So very easy preparation before the procedure, very easy after the procedure. Usually we're asking you not to shave or use deodorant for a few days after the procedure. So this is kind of cool. This is called a starch iodide test. And so this is when a solution containing potassium iodide is applied to the skin. And when the body produces sweat, the starch in the sweat binds to the potassium iodide and forms a little chemical reaction. And the chemical reaction produces this dark blue dye. So it might look black to you, but that black discoloration is a dark blue chemical reaction, and that signifies where we're sweating. And so it's a great way to measure how much we're sweating and where the sweat glands are really producing. And so we will do this before and after your treatment. And before the second treatment, if you choose to get one, we can actually do this treatment, see if there's like an isolated area that's still being stubborn, and then we can concentrate our treatment in that area. So in this photo, you can see here's before and here's a year afterwards, and there's barely anything happening in this patient's armpit. So that means there's no sweat being produced a year afterwards. And then here again, just another example, lots and lots of sweat throughout that armpit. 6 months after, there's absolutely no sweat in that area. So this is just so cool, you guys. It's just like one of these things that's too good to be true. So think about this: gray t-shirt, white t-shirts. I've had patients who've said they've worn these colors for the first time since they were kids after getting this treatment done. And if you read some of these testimonials, these are not our personal testimonials, but these were given to us by the company. If you read these testimonials, I mean, this is very, very typical of what we see out there. So, like I mentioned earlier, I was a sub investigator in clinical trials with this device in 2009. So, I have a lot of experience with the technology and being familiar with how it works. In our office, we added this device in 2019, and we have been using it ever since. It is well in the dermatology community. We receive referrals from our community dermatologists for this treatment. So we will treat their patients, and then of course send the patients back to the dermatologist. But the point is, it's well accepted in the dermatology community as being safe and effective. And of course, we have dedicated staff and protocols for this device. So we have staff who specialize in doing this procedure, and we routinely update the protocols. So Tracy actually just asked a really great question. Are there any long-term side effects documented? To my knowledge, there are no long-term side effects that are associated with this device. So I do not know of any. In our experience, there's only been one person who thought maybe he had a little bit of extra fat after the treatment. The company have never told us that that had never been documented before. That is one side effect that we have come in contact with one patient out of many. But other than that, there's just nothing long term that I'm aware of. So I love that question. Um, so again, this is just something that it's for patients who sweat a lot, but it's also for everyday use. It's for the health conscious. It's for people who are looking for just eliminating wearing deodorant. When we first got this device in 2019, I was telling my husband about it, and my husband is usually a very reluctant participant. So some of you have seen his before and after pictures with Fraxel. That was dragging him in, kicking and screaming for this Fraxel device. But for this device, he said, well, I don't really have that much of an issue, but I do a lot of outdoor work outside. I don't like using deodorant. I don't like putting chemicals on my skin. I'm interested. So he did the treatment. My esthetician, Nadia, did the treatment for him. And then he loved it so much. He said one treatment. and this was in 2019. He loved it so much. He called his best friend who lives in Iowa, and he said, "You got to come out here and have this treatment." And his best friend was like, "Okay." So he flew out. He didn't even know what this treatment was. He was totally unprepared. He came in the office thinking he was coming in for like a, 15-minute appointment. He was there for an hour and a half. And Nadia treated him after hours. And he just had no idea what he was getting into. So I just like to chuckle over that. But basically, these two men in my life are so satisfied with this treatment. They absolutely love it, and they don't wear deodorant anymore. So it's not just for patients with hyperhidrosis, for people who just don't really want to sweat or smell in their armpits anymore. Okay, so here is, Marco's going to help me with this, but here is a little, since we're not doing a live video today, here's a little video. It lasts about 4 minutes of me talking about the device on ABC, right when we got the device in 2019. So here we go. We'll see if this works. Our first video on the webinar.
At Clear Dermatology and Aesthetics Center, they offer a variety of treatments to help improve the look and texture of your skin, but one you may not be aware of is a treatment called Miradry. I want you to meet Dr. Brenda Letowski, who has invited us to your beautiful clinic here. I want to talk about Miradry.
Yeah.
And what is it, first of all? What is the treatment for?
The treatment is for patients who sweat. So that's pretty much everyone, right?
Well, you know what? When we talk about sweating, people think, oh, it's for people who sweat. But Dr. Letowski, people who come to see you for that condition, it's a pretty bad condition, isn't it?
It can be really heartbreaking. The stories that patients tell me are really dramatic sometimes. There are patients who will not go out on dates because they feel so self-conscious about sweating through their clothing. There are patients who can only wear dark colors. They will not wear white, pink, yellows because of this issue. There are patients who are self-conscious about it at work, who turn down job interviews because they are so nervous about sweating through their clothing.
Wow, I imagine you hear some pretty sad stories. So people come into the office, certain you sit down and do a consultation with them. So kind of walk me through the procedure. How does it work? What do you do exactly?
Yeah, so it's a device. It kind of looks like a laser, if you've ever seen a laser before, but it's not a laser. It uses an energy source. So it's heat energy that goes into the skin, and it targets the sweat glands.
Oh.
So it's very, very straightforward. Patient comes in, we have a detailed consultation with them, let them know what to expect, and then the actual treatment itself can be done within an hour.
Wow.
It involves placing a grid on the armpit area. It involves numbing the area with simply injecting a little bit of anesthetic, just the same as anyone's ever had a skin biopsy, same sort of thing. And then we put the device over the grid and treat. The whole process, including the numbing, takes about an hour.
That's pretty amazing. And is it true you only need one treatment?
For most patients, they only need one treatment. Statistically, it results in about 82% of sweat reduction, and that is a permanent result.
That is amazing.
It's really, it's life-changing.
Yes. Oh, I can imagine. For people who have that condition, I can only imagine it is a game changer for their life. But here's the big question. Does it hurt?
It does not hurt. In fact, I have a treatment going on right now.
We can go in?
Let's go see.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, he's not wincing, he's not crying. Apparently this is a pretty painless procedure.
It really is. Some patients even, we worry that they're sleeping during the procedure.
Well, that's a good thing.
Well, it's actually a good thing.
Yeah. All right, so I have a few questions. You know what, sweating we all know is kind of nature's air conditioner.
True.
Is it bad that we're not sweating anymore?
It's a really good question. Actually, no, because in the armpits, there are only 2% of our sweat glands there. So overall, when you look at the entire body, we're sweating just about the same.
Oh, okay. So does it mean if we're not sweating in our armpits, are we sweating more someplace else?
Another fabulous question. We get that question a lot. And the answer is actually no. So it's a really, really cool technology.
Wow. Safe procedure.
Yes,
Okay.
very safe.
And
which
a game
is,
changer.
Of course, very important. And a game changer.
Yeah.
A life changer.
A life changer. I bet you get
Yes.
lots of hugs at the end of this treatment, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. No more sweating.
No more sweating.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Letowski, for inviting us
Absolutely.
over. And also thank you for this. It at 20201 North Scottsdale Healthcare Drive. That's Suite 260. Give them a call, 480.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for sitting through that. Okay, so hopefully that answers your question. Here is the promo. So we really want you to take advantage of this for the summer. So we are going to recommend that you get 2 treatments because one is great, but I do see a majority of patients wanting 2. I did mention earlier my husband and his best friend, they only received 1, but most patients want to do 2. So here's our package. This is a painless treatment. This is easy. This is real results, and you can book with Kayla, our scheduler. So the promo is $3,000 for 2 treatments, and you're saving $1,000. And we want you to have this for the summer so you are no longer sweating this summer. And just so you know, when you have the 2 treatments, we are reducing sweating by 82%. So you'll have a little tiny bit of sweating left, but 82% reduction is pretty good. So I really encourage you to think about this and to seriously consider, tell your friends about this. And here's our raffle prize that you get for attending. So Elastin Restorative Skin Complex. This is a fabulous product. So it's a moisturizer with some ingredients in it that stimulate collagen, and that's proven by really good clinical trials. So thank you all for attending and for tuning in. And please let us know if you have any questions, because this is such a great topic. And if you feel like this is an issue, but maybe you don't want to pay out of pocket, you want to see what insurance options there are. We also treat this. This is something that dermatologists do. We treat hyperhidrosis, and there are some prescription things that you can use, but of course, they're not permanent and they may have side effects. So this is just one option, but you do have other options if you don't want to go out of insurance. So thank you so much.